Hey everyone, good morning or good evening, depending on where you are. We are here with Ari Woeste, and we are going to be looking at lettering for day 2, mainly celebrating the role of big fail. So Ari yesterday showed us some big fail moments as far as like how to get into a working situation and how to get out of it.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun. So we're going to look a little bit more over the lettering today and even get into fresco and how we're going to paint. So it's going to be...
get into painting.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on today. I'm your host, Kristine Arth, and I will be here for fun commentary the entire 2 hours. So we have a great day ahead on Adobe Live. Earlier, we had in Kathleen Martin for the Daily Creative Challenge. We're going to look over all of the submissions for those just at the end of the show today. So Ari will give some feedback. And then after us, we have Andrea Hawk, and then there's Liz Wells doing Adobe XD. And at the end of the day, we'll have Andrew Hockrattle doing the DCC for Adobe Illustrator. So stick with us. It's going to be a fun day. Let's see. Ari, maybe we'll talk a little bit about what you did yesterday and, the feeling of starting something fresh and, just your thoughts around everything.
Yeah, so if you missed yesterday, if you're just catching up, the copy that I'm working with for the hand lettering piece is big fail energy, because I've realized as I approach my 30s, all my 20s were me trying to avoid failure, but I realized how much failure has propelled me into growth and challenged me and made me who I am today. And so I really want to celebrate that. And as I go forward into the next, well, I guess we're in February now.
Yeah, into the next year.
I guess as I approach my 30th birthday. And so, yeah, I wanted to make a piece for a while about big failures. And so, yeah, I
love
worked
it.
on, yesterday we approached, if you were here yesterday, you see that the design is a bit different, because when I got home, I realized how much of a failure yesterday was. I was trying to make this piece, but I was blanking, because, being live makes you feel a little foggy. And so I rearranged some of the type. The layout is basically the same, but this was kind of what I was going for. I realized that my big failure yesterday was my baseline and my axis were swapped. I wanted my axis to be upright, and I wanted my baseline to be on an angle. And yesterday was, let's see, it looked more like this. Kind of the same idea. This is a very rough sketch, but this is where I was trying to go, was in this direction. If you can see this a little bit better, if I make it bigger. And so as I was drawing over it and trying to figure out, well, what did I do wrong? That's what I did. I just put the baseline and the axis switched. So,
It's
pro
great.
tip,
Yeah.
always think about that when you're starting. Sometimes you make a big mistake in the beginning. You have to go all the way back and kind of redo it. And so, yeah, this is the, I guess the rough sketch for what I want to pursue.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Thank you.
Completely different from yesterday, and I love that. And I like the spurs that you've added to connect in the middle of the letter, so it's great.
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing today is we'll be outlining this and making it more final, and then I'll show you how to use the live brushes in painting.
Cool.
And so, yeah, this will take a bit of time to make, nice and
I think it's going to be
wonderful,
fun.
so we'll have some time to talk
Yeah,
while I do
everybody's
that.
really excited out there.
Yay.
They say it looks great, it's awesome. Good energy, agreed.
Yeah.
Yes, so definitely say hello, and I will be reaching out to all of you. Lee, Nor, Joseph, Jeremy, Sienna, Katie, Valder, welcome, thank you.
Okay, so I grouped all these into a big layer. That's one thing I really like about the layering in Fresco, and I think many of the other Adobe apps.
Yeah.
So when you layer them, you can move the whole thing around.
Yeah, that's nice.
And so, yeah, so I have them grouped right now, but I'm gonna go in, double tap, select, okay, where am I here? This is energy. So I realize now that I look at it today that my my G and Y aren't really in line with my E and R. That's the first thing I see. So I'm gonna turn my grid back on. That's not what I wanted. That was my original. Okay, hold on. Where are we? There we go. This one. Okay.
Nice, intense grid. I like that.
So
Yeah,
I
so there's
redid
like
it
an
yesterday,
intensified grid too. That's cool to see the process. It's like nice to see, you know, like when you're initially thinking about things, and then just as you get through it, you realize you need a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, because yesterday I was doing very loose, and that's like whenever I start, I just work very loosely so I can get my thoughts out onto the page. And then I'll take a couple days to just concept and think about it. And so typically I have that amount of time, and I think a lot of people do that. I
would say most people don't complete something in 2 hours.
Yeah, and so you'll leave it, you'll come
guys?
back, and you'll see how different your brain was thinking, and you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
I'll change that. Let me fix this. And so in pursuit of, you know, actually being able to show you the painting, that's why I went ahead and kind of went through some of this.
It was cool to see the initial process yesterday because I think that also alleviates some, you know, stress and tension and the fear of failure out there in chat, because I know that everyone, you know, the hardest thing to do is start. And once you start, it's not so terrible because then you can see what you want to change.
Yeah. So.
Boy, those are some real life tips. We're getting deep again. I was like, wow. I was like, I'm going to take my own advice because, you know. Hello, Monir, Alberto, Lindsay, and Jathan. Welcome back, everybody. It's so nice to see you guys all back in chat for day 2. Such a good show.
There you go. So I'm going to select, so I see here that my the bottom of my G and my Y aren't really hitting the baseline, and I mean, they're kind of all over the place. I don't know what I was doing there. So I'm gonna just erase this, actually. I'm not gonna try to like redo. I'm not trying to like move it with my transform tool. Sometimes it's just easier just to draw. I get in habit sometimes.
What's up, David? Hello. Yes, we are gonna be looking at the DCC for Photoshop later in the stream. So stick with us and definitely get your submissions in. So we will be, you know, really hard critiques later. We're gonna tell everyone what they've done right and wrong. Just kidding. In the essence of big fail energy, we're gonna be very supportive.
Yes. Yeah, and I did try to, so whenever I do pieces like this, I try to like use building blocks. That's something I was thinking about last night. I wish I could show you, and so I'll talk about it now. I like to keep, this is also like a vectoring tool or tip. I like to keep in my sketches my units. So like here in the eye, like it extends beyond these little spurs. I don't like to remove those lines because it helps me vector if I do translate into like a final vector piece. And it gives you a better idea of how the form is structured. And so if you're struggling with like, oh, well, how do you make this happen here? So if I had this, oh wait, I'm not selected on that layer.
I was like, where are we? I was like, what's this? I want to know.
So like, each part of the letter is based on a, you know, even here, I'm like, oh, I screwed up there. I gotta fix that. But I like to keep, like, this is one shape here. Hold on. This is one shape that you would make while you're vectoring. And then, I mean, even this, you could like round that out. I don't know. There's a bunch of different things you could do. But this is what I would do. Make this one shape, and then this shape extends and overlaps. So that helps you have consistent lines as they cross, as they overlap, so you don't have like these weird things in the center or like a line that goes down like this. Because that just wouldn't make sense. So, but like for this style and what I'm working with. So yeah, that's just a little side tip I wanted to share with you.
That's great.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to
Jeremy says, awesome tip.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back up here and fix this a bit, because that wasn't really in line. Kind of working quick and fast last night. Oops. And this is you know what? I really like that line. I don't want to redo it, so
Yeah,
I'm just going to select it and move it because I don't want to.
I was like, I like it too.
Like,
don't get rid of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm like, that's...
It's got a great flourish.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't do something like that, but I was like, you know what?
I'm doing it.
I'm going to go for it. I don't know.
Right.
Like, I don't know if it makes sense, but like, who cares?
It's the
fine.
difference between lettering. Like, that's the thing. With lettering, anything goes.
Yeah,
you know,
and
it's
I kind
a
of
feeling.
Like this curve down here.
Yeah, it matches the curve.
If I like parallel it, then it has like a nice like complementary feel.
Exactly.
So
it's very good. I'm glad you kept that.
Yeah. Okay. So now, is there anything else that we see that needs to be fixed first? Any weird spacing? I mean, these flourishes are just placeholders for now. I'll figure out what I'm doing with those.
No, we're all so excited.
Cool. Are you excited? Are we ready to go?
We're ready. We're so ready. Yeah, chat, are we ready?
I haven't figured out what I'm doing with this L up here.
Who cares about the L?
Yeah.
It's just big phi energy.
So here's a question. Does this feel like at all like a J? Because when I was doing it, I was like, I don't know.
Phage.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's probably the flourish at the bottom.
Yeah, and because I was struggling with like filling that space, and I thought maybe of doing a flourish off of this instead.
Maybe it's there, but it's not connected.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
Because I like the idea of it filling that space, otherwise it feels pretty empty. But maybe it's separate from the L so that it's more of a underline because fail is such a terrible word.
Yeah, and like maybe I switch these around. So then instead of it being like coming in from the right side at the top, it comes in from the left. Oop, I was on a different layer when I did that. Wait, what layer? Oh, there we go. I'm like, what layer am I on right now?
Alex Lazarus is out there. Hey, Alex. He's so ready. Alex was a guest I had hosted a few weeks ago, and fantastic designer. Really lovely to see you out there. Hi.
Okay. So I'm gonna rotate this because I like to pull towards me. And maybe do one of these things. And then I'm gonna do that.
Nice.
Round that out. I'll delete this. And then I'll just switch these so it doesn't have any confusion about whether it's an L or a J. It's definitely an L. So.
You're like, this is an L.
This is not a J, you guys.
Like, there's no such J here.
Like, sometimes when I do, like, now I feel like it has to move up a little bit, but whatever, we can figure that out. But.
Hello, Corey, Alok, Chums, Alberto, Kendrick. Nice. Everybody's back. This is good. Jose, what up?
Cool. Okay, so now, how are we feeling?
Nice. Yeah, this definitely feels more L, fail.
Yeah. We got this weird little dagger guy on the N. Cool. Okay, now I'm ready. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a whole separate layer. And sometimes I like to just, if I feel good about this and I'm like, oh, I don't wanna screw up completely, I will go back to home. And
we're definitely saving this.
And I'm going to duplicate it.
Nice.
I have so many duplicates. I mean, even just my Adobe Live, and I was like, I have to have 4. So, yeah, I duplicate all the time just so I have, like, a version history. Because, working in Photoshop or something like that, it's easy to just, like, duplicate, like, on your computer, but this one you have to go out and, you have to remember to do it. Okay, so that, because I'm duplicating things, that means that I can kind of get rid of some layers that I don't need anymore. So I don't need this. This is from my last design, so I'm going to delete that. I don't need this anymore because it's also from my last design. And if I really want it, I can retrieve it from a different...
You're like, we're just going to delete it. We don't need that.
Yeah,
it's in the other file. That's why you duplicate
it. It starts to slow down your iPad if you have too many layers and like too many things that you don't need. And so I'd like to just get rid of the stuff that
we don't need it. Let's get rid of it.
Okay, so I'm going to make a new layer. And this is already kind of faint, but I'm going to make it even lighter. can still see it, everybody. Okay, I worry
Barely.
about that. I'm like, I don't want you to
I
not
was
be
like,
able
we
to see
can
it.
barely see it.
There
it is.
I will set this back a little bit more. Oops. Hold on.
Cool. Well, as you guys can see, the Chat and Win countdown just came up on the screen. So we've got a little less than 13 minutes. And today, if you are in chat, you have the ability to win 100 3x3 die cut stickers from Sticker Mule. So pretty awesome. They're free and they're super good. And if you want, you can send me one and I'll put it on my computer. Only if I like it though. I'm pretty picky.
So I'm trying to decide what kind of texture I want these lines to have. So I'm gonna just test out some different things. Because I want something that's rough but still like refining enough that. So I want it to look a little sketchy on the outlines, but still like refined
Precise.
line. Yeah. And so I don't want anything too crazy. Like yesterday we were using the Conte crayon. This is the blotty ink. That's way too much, but perfect for other things. And so I'm gonna use, and again, I'm using the pixel brushes, but there are vector brushes that you can use.
Yeah.
That's live. Hold on. The vector brushes here. So if you know for sure this needs to be vector and you just want to work right away in that, you have your vector brushes here.
Cool.
Yeah, there's not as many to choose from because they are such a robust thing.
Yeah.
And so I just like to use the pixel brushes because it feels more natural to me. Okay, so this one, I'm not on blotty. I don't want that. So I don't know, maybe a marker.
Nice.
Painting.
I want all the stickers, you guys. Just send them. Yes. Even if I do hate cats, I will take a kitty sticker. I'm not a cat person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wasn't a cat person, then I got a cat.
You have a cat?
Yeah.
At home?
Yeah.
No way, but you have a dog too.
Yeah.
You have a cat and a dog?
So I got a cat.
You're a two-animal family.
I know.
Wow.
I got a cat before I got my dog, thinking like, oh, like I don't need a dog. I'll just get a cat. Like I'll just get some expensive furniture that like sits there and eats food. And
You're like, I'll just get furniture the cat can mess up.
No, I was thinking I'll get the like the cat is the expensive furniture, like because it just eats and sits there and doesn't love you.
Yeah, cats are evil. I mean, no offense. I love people that love cats.
Yeah, and I just never had a good cat growing up, and so like I have scars on my hands from cats that attacked me as a kid.
I'm like, yeah, right
yeah,
there.
right there. I was like, 8.
Yeah, you do.
I was like, oh, I didn't like cats, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a cat because I couldn't have a dog at the time. Okay, I'm just gonna go with.
Yeah, Nora, cats are selfish. I agree.
Rough pencil, maybe. Let's see what this looks
I was like, I already have enough selfishness. I don't want a cat. I need someone who pays attention. Like a dog. They need me.
Yeah. But then I got a cat, and she was like a dog.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
I had a dog cat growing up.
For this.
Yeah. They were great.
Okay. I think I'm going to do... What was this?
They're so independent. I like
what
that.
did I have? I had this great one that I really liked, but now I don't know where it is. Natural Inker?
Oh, Natural Inker. Ooh, is that
I
it?
don't know. What
I was like,
I
is that the
using?
one?
Does anybody remember? There was like the first one that I used was a classic comics name.
Well, it was Conte crayon yesterday.
Yeah, that was too rough. I
Yeah.
mean,
I like that one that you just had.
Yeah, it's like rough-ish, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I don't know what you're going for, so.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I want the. I don't know what flow. I wish I was better at that. I don't know what flow means. Oh. I know that smoothing means like the line that if I'm like making squiggly lines.
Then your gestures are more fluid,
like auto-corrected, basically.
Yeah, which is nice sometimes, you know. Yeah.
Especially when I'm doing final stuff like this. But I don't want the pressure dynamic to be. Hold on. Is it in here? Size jitter. Gosh, I wish I was better at this. Pen pressure. There we go. The little drop down. Medium. I don't want there to be as much of a difference in my none. Because I want it to just be like a consistent line. So depending on nope, that's not going to change anything. I don't know. Maybe I'll just find one that already has that.
I like it.
In it.
So what is everybody working on out there? Are you all on Fresco today too? Tell us if you're working in Fresco and if you're also lettering.
Dry media. You know, maybe I might just do the Conte crayon because I liked that. I did that on my Adobe Live graphic that I made. It's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little sporadic, so it naturally makes an inconsistent line, which can be really nice for, I think for stuff like this, it kind of like, it creates implied line versus distinct line. So like, yeah, I have to actually push when I use this one. So I'm just gonna start working on this.
Cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I like hearing what people are working on out there. Alberto said he's in Photoshop creating horse content today.
Horse content?
Yeah. I was like, I wonder what that is. Is it like drawing horses? Is it, retouching horses? Is it photography? Are they, GIFs, animated? I don't know, stop motion? Like, there's so many options.
Yeah. Like content is like social content? Like, are you like helping like a stable run their Instagram account?
Yeah,
like,
right?
What are we talking about
Yeah,
here?
what are we even going
I'm
with?
sure a stable needs to have, they have like horse camps in the
think
summer.
of Connecticut. I went to a horse camp when I was a kid.
Oh my gosh! Oh, I have so many pictures of me and my horse Freckles. I'm like,
you're like,
I
hello.
love my horse. I had the same horse
Oh my
for
gosh.
the 3 years that I went.
Oh my gosh, I went for a couple of years too. That's so funny. Yeah, I always got sick.
Oh, what? You got sick?
Well, I would drink the water from the spring, which is obviously not fresh water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I learned the second year not to do that. So
the second year.
You make a couple mistakes. It's big fail energy. I was like, that's a big fail.
So I'm checking myself here. Like, this is a little light. And so I'm making the decision now, like realizing now, thankfully, and not later. So, might mean that I need to change my brush because this brush has like a,
too much,
what's it called?
Edge.
Yeah, it's an angled
It's got
brush.
too much grit.
And I want to have like a consistent line. So either I'm going to be like working against that or I just wing it and go for it. I don't know. Well,
This is
we'll
great.
see.
Horse social media content, graphics for different channels, fun facts about the product, content for March. Alberto, how fun.
What?
Look at that, horse
I'm
content.
so excited about that.
Right?
I love horses so much because they're either your best friend or like your worst enemy.
Or they kick you.
Yeah.
I've seen that, I haven't been kicked. They're usually nice. I bring carrots and apples.
So I don't know if you know this, but you can actually change your brush for your eraser too. So
Oh yeah, I love that. It's so great. Because then when you're erasing, it's not just a dramatic cutoff. It's like, I can erase it in the same style as my brush, so it feels good.
Yeah.
I literally just learned that last week, and I was like, oh. I'm pretty new to the iPad with the programs because I just bought an iPad this past winter.
Nice.
Yeah. It's been fun learning it, though.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I've had an iPad for so long that I'm just like, I kind of got over it in, I don't know, maybe it was 2 years ago. I was like, I'm sick of the iPad. I want analog again. It's funny how we go back and forth like that as humans.
Yeah.
We're just like, oh my gosh, the new hot thing. Oh, I hate the new hot thing. Like, so
it was really slow and hesitant to adopt it. It took me a while.
Yeah.
It took someone convincing me that it was so cool.
Yeah, and they
And I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. That would save me a lot of time dramatically. So.
I still haven't fully figured out what this is for.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it keeps you from rotating your screen.
Oh, yeah, it does. To constrain, your screen from moving.
I'm not.
So that if your wrist slides on it, then it won't shift.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have that happen a lot because I really lean on my iPad.
Oh, wait. What's going on here? There we go. It's like, what? Why won't this erase? Sometimes I just don't push hard enough.
Lee Gaynor says, that's a steady hand. You've got a steady hand.
I am also using the smoothing tool, so it looks super steady.
I like that. That smoothing tool is like key for me because I'm always like, ooh.
You know, especially like right now,
And then coffee, it's like,
I've had too much coffee and like not enough food, and I'm just like,
like smoothie tool all the way up to 100.
So there's something that my one of my favorite design professors in college said to us when we first started. Like one of our first projects in design, like one, was to make an alphabet. Which is like, this was my introduction to my love of letters. Was to make a grid-based alphabet and using India ink. And so, yeah, it was his number one piece of advice was to have plenty of food and not much caffeine.
Yep.
Sleep.
Oh yeah, with ink. Jeez, yeah, India ink.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and calligraphy were not friends when I was in Paris because obviously the coffee's delicious and obviously I already have like shaky tremor hands, so it was like, not good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I ended up basing my typeface on that disability of mine. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I couldn't get around it.
What was that like? I mean, I'm just like personally very intrigued by like type programs like that because it's not as.
It was a lot of work.
Oh my gosh.
And it was worth it, and I would do it again, but I would not do that again.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's like I would do it again immediately.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah. I have, do you know Scott Biersack?
Yeah, I believe so. Name
went-
sounds familiar.
yeah,
I don't
he
know
did,
him personally.
He did the Type Paris program this past.
Oh, yeah, I do know him.
Yeah.
I was there this summer. I met him. He's super nice. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's great. He's a big inspiration of mine for the past couple
Yeah.
of years.
He's in New York.
He's in.
Because he did Type Cooper and then he did Type Paris.
He's actually in Phoenix.
Or in Phoenix.
Yeah, he lives in Phoenix.
That's right.
Yeah, so as you can see, I'm like going in after I make
Nice.
the lines and erasing them because I want to have that nice, consistent line. And like as you can see, you know, things are gonna be kind of. That's the nature of this
Looks
brush.
good.
It's not gonna be completely. I'm not filling it in because I'm gonna be filling it in with paint, and so these are just the outlines.
And you can do that as long as they're all connected, right?
Wait, like
Oh,
to
right.
fill?
You're
No,
gonna be,
I'm just gonna
you're
be like
doing fresco brushes. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm really curious about that too. Oh, we've got just a minute left for chat and win countdown. So if you're in chat, you have the ability to win. That's all you have to do is be there and say hi. You know, tell us what you're doing, where you're at, what your favorite letter forms are. What's your favorite letter?
Yeah,
We'll ask
what are
that.
like, what's everyone's favorite letter, and then like, what's your favorite one to draw?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the same as your least favorite, like S.
Yeah.
I love and hate S.
Do an MS Paint tutorial. Okay.
I always wonder like how many people found themselves in graphic design because of paint.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a great question.
Because that's one of those things that when I was a dietetics major in my first year of college, I was trying to figure out what am I doing with my life? What do I want to do? Not what my parents want me to do, or like society or whatever. I looked back at all the things that I had a propensity for and the things that I enjoyed doing as a kid. And I would make all of my presentations for school, even though they didn't need visual presentations. I would make them in paint, and I would like make these weird little graphics for anything and everything, just because. And I was like, wait, hold on, maybe I like visual art, like creativity.
It's time for the countdown, everybody. So, tell us what your favorite letter is, and you may have the chance to win. Go. We're back. That was a really quick segue back into it. So let's see who won. I have a feeling it's going to be, you know, someone in chat, but this is just a guess. Ari's still drawing. This is perfect. We've got all the letters. She's whipping things up. There's a lot of letters out there. Everybody's pretty excited about their own letter. I'm surprised that there isn't more people that say that their favorite letter is the same as their first name. I'm always like, K, yeah. but actually mine's R. So R is my favorite letter. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, there's some R's out there.
Any
Santaji.
Q's out there?
Q's are good. I haven't seen a Q yet.
I love Q's.
Q's are good, but
They're
it's
so
definitely not my
cool.
favorite. R's are just so beautiful.
There's just so many different ways to do a Q.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to do a lot of letters.
Oh, yeah. But you can definitely get into it, like when you're really in love with something like that. You're like, there's so many ways to do a Q. I'm like, there's so many ways to do an R.
Yeah. And
I
it
love
doesn't happen very often, so it's like when
We're
it
like,
happens,
hey
you're
guys.
like, Q!
Yeah.
Like, when does a Q ever happen? Ah!
Exactly. Oh, we have a winner. Eliza Frantacargelli. Frantacarcangeli. Wow, what a beautiful name. Eliza, you won. You've got 100 3x3 die cut stickers coming your way. You will be pinged in chat. So if you didn't win, which is everyone but Eliza, you can go to stickermule.com/Adobe Live 20 and you'll get a $10 or $1 for 10 stickers. So that's a pretty great deal. And yeah, I know that Ari and I will want one of your stickers. So send it over. Pretty fun. Ah, yay. I saw Eliza in there. She's like, yeah, there he is. Yay, Eliza, you won. Fantastic. Congrats. Ooh, looking good.
Yeah, we're in production mode now.
Yeah, look at that.
This is when I would like just turn on some really loud music and just go to town.
Hello, Rosemary. Welcome. Well, everyone out there can hear music, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, nice. That line was good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the first word down.
Nice. So we have got the countdown clock up for design feedback. For those of you who are participating in the Design Creative Challenge, we have the challenge tab to the right of the screen. And if you go there and click it, you can see that in Photoshop, the challenge is to create a color scene using shapes and gradients. And that's something that maybe you followed along with Kathleen earlier in the show today. So definitely submit that. There's a starter file if you need it. And when your design's complete, share it. And we're going to take a look at it in 56 minutes. Ooh, woo. Pretty fun.
Yeah, and I realized that I had the wrong size, so I just like brought down my brush size, and now it's much easier for me. So sometimes you just gotta like feel out the brush and figure out what's best for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't like how, because if I pushed really hard, then it was a giant line. You can see a little bit more of the variation over here, but I'm gonna try to make it less.
Nice.
Over on this side.
Olivier says, so peaceful when you're seeing Ari working. It is.
Aww.
Do, 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 do.
Yeah, I'm trying to go as fast as I can so we can get to the painting part, 'cause that's fun.
Jonathan Wittenberg, yes, this is Adobe Fresco, and it's on the iPad. Thank you for being here and being new to all of this. It's always fun to have some people that are new to chat and new to Adobe Live.
Oops. Pushed a little too light there. Yeah. I like the more I work with these brushes, the more I appreciate like the fact that they're not so like what's the word, mechanical? Like
yeah, not so perfect.
Because that was the reason I left my iPad behind, was because I felt like it was dictating a lot of my designs, and I was just relying on it too heavily rather than thinking for myself and making up my own decisions. And then things start to look really similar. Like you start to look like other people on the internet, and you just start, I don't know. So I went back to analog to like change the way my brain was approaching lettering, and having to work with, like, not against a tool, but to like understand the tool and how like sporadic it can be, just like a pencil. Like as you use a pencil, you have to keep sharpening it because it dulls. and that's something that I think we lose when we're working constantly just with these like automated tools. And so I really appreciate that about Fresco, that it has that like organic feel, especially with the painting. Because that's the joy that you get from painting is like, I'm going to feel like Bob Ross right now, but like, you get these little happy mistakes and little happy accidents, and you work with them. And I mean, obviously in this program you can undo and you can decide what accidents you want to keep, but I think it's really cool that like Sketch felt like, yeah, this is like a sketching program, and Draw was, you know, for making these like final vector works, but this feels more like a mental exercise. Like it's good for your brain as well as completing a piece. I don't know. That's at least how it's been for me.
So Voodoo Val has a question. What is your favorite design era?
Oh boy. The 60s and 70s lettering. I don't know. I have a book back home. It's just custom lettering of the 60s and 70s. Very straightforward. And I love it because it's just like you can tell that people, like the letterers that were making these pieces. Oh, I'm seeing now that this is not on the right baseline. I'm going to fix that now. Down here. Yeah, so you can tell lettering artists back then, they had all this formal training, but they were feeling frustrated by the rigidity of like really, you know, old school lettering. And so they were trying to push themselves out of these boundaries and do really weird things. And so it's like you have this perfect blend of like quality letter forms,
experimentation,
weird,
psychedelics.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Have you been to the Fillmore here in San Francisco?
Mm-mm.
You should definitely take a peek in there because the posters on the wall are all the originals from each show. Because they still have the tradition at the Fillmore where every show that they perform, every show, every group that they bring in, you always get a poster, no matter what. And they still give a poster out to everyone who has a ticket. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool tradition, and every poster that's ever been designed, at least from their earlier days, is up on their wall.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really great to go in there for type specimens.
Yeah.
Take some photographs. It's like it's your own letter form archive, if you will, but only for that period of time.
Yeah. How about you? Do you have a favorite period of type or design? Or?
Of design? I like the 30s and 40s, and depends on what. I mean, I'm a big fan of fine art, and I look a lot to fine art specifically for my own designs. More like Matisse or Yves Klein, Herman Miller, even like the architectural styles, and Eero Saarinen. So I'm always looking more at architecture and form. And I really like the way that, I think it's because it's something I can't do and I won't do. And I would love to do, but I'm not going to do. So when I look at painting like that and I look at form and architecture, something that's so grand and large, it's really inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how we're drawn to the things that we feel like are hard to achieve for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I am drawn to artists on Instagram that I'm like, I can never do that. But then I follow and I'm just like, this is amazing. And I get so inspired by it.
Totally.
And I'm like, well, I'll never do that, but that's super cool.
But it's also maybe something you don't want to do, and that's why you're so drawn to it, because you're like, wow, that's so cool that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I follow a lot of really bright colored, whimsical lettering artists. But that's not my style at all, and I don't really do that very often. And I'm getting ahead of myself and doing the L. I'm on the I still. And it just makes me so happy that there's so many people that do that, and
Totally.
they're all about positivity vibes, and I love that. But I don't think I could ever make those things because I'm just too emo.
I can completely agree with you on that, where it's definitely a like I always thought that my design aesthetic was minimal and really clean because that's what I personally like. Mm-hmm. But actually, my style is really loud and bold and like just very geometric based. And it is nothing like the minimalists of the people that I really enjoy looking at. And I think it's one of those things where it's like I really like looking at their work because I'm like, oh, that's so nice and it's so minimal and elegant. And I personally really like to create things that are really like bold and loud and colorful and chunky and intense and have like a, fat personality. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice, I'm always impressed by people when they're so restrained and I'm like, yes. And that's my personal taste.
Yeah. And I feel like that suits you as a person too, like your personality. Like if you were to tell me that you're a super minimalist, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, no, exactly. I would try. I've been in my past life. Yes, I would try, but it wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm starting to finally find a balance between maybe not my lettering style, because I'm always trying to try new styles, and I feel like that kind of negates the like minimalist thing. But
yeah,
but like I went through a period last year where it was like all black and white. Like even my stories. I only. Oh dang it.
I do a lot of black and white. I like that. I think it's nice when I'm just practicing things, because then I don't feel like it looks too final.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not.
But I went through the phase where like even just like my daily life story posts were all black and white, and I was like harsh vibes only, and like sadness and depression, and I was like really struggling with some depression stuff, so it was like fitting for what I was going through. But it's funny because like now I feel like I've found a place where I can be minimal. Like with my paintings, I've been such like minimally. Like composition wise, they're very minimal, but my color selections are kind of all over the place. Like I'm using full rainbows, like I'm doing gradients of rainbows now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I found a thing that makes sense for me.
Totally.
And it just takes a long time for people. I mean, I've been like practicing design and I guess art now for the past 8 years. And oh wow, 9 years. Huh. Time flies.
Time does fly.
And so it took me this long for me to feel like I have my own voice and style. Which I had people tell me like all the time, like, oh, but you have a style, like it's natural style that like just comes through. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, but when you don't feel it for yourself, it doesn't. I don't know, you feel kind of lost and confused, and you're like, well, I don't know what my style is. I don't have like a solid direction. But now I feel like I know what that is, and it just took a really long time to get there.
So we've got a couple questions out there. Yeah. Do you listen to music while you work, or do you watch shows, or...
I'm a very heavy music person. Not heavy music, but like music heavy. There we go.
Yeah?
I actually, if I'm working on a big project, I will make a playlist in inspiration of that style. And I'll just like play the music.
Nice.
I was obsessed with Kandinsky growing up. Mm-hmm. So, not growing up, but like in design school, studying art for the first time. I was like, what? He was inspired by music and like painted form and shape and color based on like the music he was drawn to, and he was trying to make like audible compositions with his visuals, and I just I wrote my my senior art history paper on it.
I love that.
I loved him. So I have that same approach where like with my paintings, I've made a playlist. That helps me like stay focused on that style.
I love it. I do that too.
Yeah, because it's like it's very happy.
It's great.
Yeah, like I'm trying to channel like because I struggle with depression and anxiety, so like these paintings have been like a little escape for me, and I've realized that that's helped me in not trying to like not feed my pessimism and sadness too much. And so
it helps break the cycle.
Yeah, and so that playlist is just like all these epically happy songs.
Positive music. That's
a lot
great.
of lyrically sad, but like my favorite is Bombay Bicycle Club for that reason.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Because their lyrics are kind of sad if you really listen to them.
Got a little bit of a pop tone to them though.
Yeah, but they're like happy. So you're like, hey, this is a fun
Yeah,
bop. But then you're like,
it's not so bad.
oh no, the sadness is setting in. But yet you're happy at the same time. It's like that's what life is. Life is, like the sad moments alongside the happy ones, and that's what makes life so vibrant and beautiful.
So there's another question. Do you own your own studio, or what's the background of Ari Woeste?
Oh, I'm just me at this point. With all the pressure to like figure out like what are you, who like what do you offer? Last year I started. Texture is the name. I have an Instagram handle for it. It's texture.is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I was working on 2 typefaces last year, and then
Nice.
Before I moved to Portland, and if any of you follow me and you know what happened with being in Portland and all the drama I experienced there's a reason I took a step back from type design for a bit and just like focusing on survival and making things work. So once I get back into the groove, I will be putting out my typefaces on through Texture.
Cool.
So that's my like platform for selling my fonts.
Amazing.
Because I think people get confused when like, are you an art director? Are you a photographer? Are you a designer? Lettering artist, illustrator? It's like, oh, okay. Well, if I separate it out, then it might help people understand. So that was my attempt to like separate things a little bit.
Nice.
Plus, it's like just practically a good platform to like have something separate. To say like, hey, this is my website that I sell my fonts through instead of it being all on my website. Oh, that's right. I did this on here. Yeah, so I don't have like a separate studio. I work wherever. I am remote. I travel a lot. And yeah, I don't know. It's just me.
Good.
It's just me.
I hear ya.
Like it'd be nice to have a cool studio and like have my own space and be able to paint in a controlled area. But I mean, I was just painting on a beach in Maui, and that was like.
You're like, that's cool.
Yeah, and it like changed the way that I painted too, because it was a different.
Yeah, the environment can really inspire.
Like I got hit by a volleyball while I was painting, and it like made a mark on the painting, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep that. That's fine. Like, because that's like a moment of that's life. Sometimes things happen, and you just have to like go with it. You have to make little.
You're like, I'm going with this volleyball interference.
Yeah, like this little because ultimately, I mean, even if people buy my art, it's still like I'm making it from my own like internal place, and it's ultimately for me when I'm making. And so at that point, I was like, well, no, but the person that buys it won't want this mark. I'm like, no, that's fine, because this was like a part of the experience. This is like I was making this about Maui, on Maui, and I got hit with a volleyball. It's part of the experience.
Well, this is looking really good. So a couple people are asking what brush you're using.
I'm using the Conte crayon.
Nice.
I found I really like this one. It just has like a nice natural texture to it. Then it has a little mind of its own, and I like that. So I just like went on a little rant about the volleyball making a mark on my paper. I like things to kind of like work with me instead of not work with me. I don't like to have complete control. I think that's just like a life motto of mine. I like when things are kind of sporadic and
nice. I like it.
Weird.
Eric Sue, hello. I saw you earlier. Hello, welcome. Glad you're here. RB, Santiago, Anthony, Sky.
Hey.
Hey, everyone.
I think I follow Santiago on Instagram.
Amazing.
Yeah. Hi.
He says, Ari, you do type design? ?
Yeah. I mean, I was posting quite a bit about it last year. Yeah, but,
So what kind of,
take a step back.
what type of font, what style font are you creating?
If you pull up my website, if you want to do that. So I'm just going to keep working on this. My logo, that's the style that I'm working on for one.
All right.
And then if you go to, I think in the 2D lettering, oh no, it's texture right there. Texture is, yeah, that's the lowercase of what I'm working on. Yeah, so
Cool.
it's like
Oh,
the
it's
namesake.
kind of similar to what you're creating right now, too.
I really like this style.
Yeah.
And if you go to my 2D lettering page, it's funny that I have to say 2D lettering because it's like I have tactile too. So there's a piece called Unimonia. This is one I mentioned yesterday. Where people were like, it's hard to read. I'm like, yes, because it's for me.
Yeah.
I originally made this as a mural.
Nice.
If you go to my murals page, you'll see the mural.
It's like, hold on now.
Hold on. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
I know, it's one of those weird things on Squarespace. Lettering. And then murals. Yeah. So if you go down, it's right there. I made that for myself. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to share this with everyone. Because that was in my home studio.
Nice. This is great.
And yeah, eudaimonia is, it's the Greek word for like that feeling you get of exhaustion after doing something you love. Like you work so hard and you're so tired, but you feel this huge
like
sense
a relief.
of reward. Yeah. Like I worked my butt off for that.
Very fun.
And so,
and what about the drops in there?
I just wanted some gold on the wall. So I took I lifted them out and did one-shot gold.
Awesome.
And
Nice.
so they're like super shiny. Yeah, and I like playing with illegibility.
Yeah.
Because working with clients, everything is like has to be legible. It has to be legible. And so I think that's a little bit of my rebellion and being like, no, I want to feel like I have control and like being able to not be legible all the time. Because it's fun. It's kind of fun to just I don't know, try something.
Totally.
Try something weird and
that's
see
the
how
whole
far
point,
you can push it.
because those things don't exist. So,
Yeah.
well, hopefully. And the idea is that you're creating something that is, useful for a specific purpose.
Yeah, and I think we're in a really interesting point with how accessible and prolific type designers are on the internet. It's there's so many.
Yeah, it's a good time for type.
Yeah, there's so many fonts out there, and they're so easy to access, and they're all within, not all, but they're a lot of them are decent typefaces are in within reasonable price points. And so you have this this inundation of type design and with the focus on legibility, and I think people are type designers are starting to feel okay, well, how can I push this? What can I do differently? Because there's those needs have already been met by this typeface. So how can I make my own? And I think that's what I'm trying to do with that texture one. I'm if it's not useful to anybody, I guess that's fine. But because it is very specific and a little weird.
Well, I think that's okay, though. I think,
Yeah.
You'll probably find your own uses for it.
Yeah. And that was the original thought behind it, because I was using it for the branding for texture, and I was it might be fun to just have my own set. I had a big, just by building texture, those letters, I had pretty solid building blocks for making the rest of the lowercase, and then I did eudaimonia, and I was well, now I have the slanted versions of this. If I just make all the uppercase and lowercase and do some symbols and some numbers, then I have a full set.
You're I got this.
So I might as well.
May as well.
And I was interning for a type designer in Minneapolis, Michael China.
Nice.
If you're familiar. And I learned a lot from him, and I wasn't really preparing to release any fonts, but then I learned quite a bit just helping him with some of his typefaces.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the production value of the behind the scenes kerning alone is it's an entire
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's been holding me back. Like, I have most of my forms done, but I'm like,
kerning is, you can make beautiful letters, but if they're not kerned well, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because when people type stuff out, they don't do the work to kern. Like...
Yeah, that's what makes really good fonts really good. Is good kerning.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys are getting your submissions in for the daily challenge in Photoshop. We've got just about 30 minutes. So check out that in Discord. Make sure that you're sharing your Photoshop exposés and all the fun things that Kathleen taught you this morning.
Man, sometimes these curves are tough.
Yeah.
Like going from a curve to a straight line is like, ugh.
It's daunting.
Like, I want to just be like, hey.
Yeah, you're like, why isn't it doing what my brain is doing? Like, my brain's doing this.
Yeah. Okay, almost done. Okay, I need to actually zoom out because this needs to be one motion.
Nice.
I need to pull towards
Looks
me.
good. Hi, Grand Freud. Haven't seen you in a while. You are late. Good to see you.
Okay, last letter.
Last letter.
And then we'll start painting.
Ooh, can't wait.
Yeah.
Who's excited to paint? Who's painted out there? Who's actually worked with these watercolor illustrative paint-like textures and patterns? Who's done it? Tell us. Lots of people in chat.
Okay. Oh, this one is giving me a hard time.
I love it. I was like, sing it out. Just sing it out, Ari. You got this. You're like, this one's difficult.
Yeah.
I love it, yeah.
Whenever, I don't know, when I draw, I'm by myself, because, like, working alone as a freelancer, you just kind of...
Yeah, you start to talk to yourself and go crazy. Yeah, totally.
So I'll just, like, talk to myself in my apartment.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And singing. It's natural. And then having a dog and a cat, I, like, talk to them. And they're like, what are you doing?
Oh, Lindsay Palmer, you're out there. We know you've worked in that. Woohoo. Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of people working in Fresco.
Yeah, and how many people, like, work with the analog versions of all these things? Like, how often... like, do we have anybody here that works with oil paints a lot and watercolor? I'll be using the watercolor brushes, but it's an interesting transition because I've been working with gouache a lot, and so the watercolor feels very similar to what I've been doing, and it's been a surprise, actually.
You're like, huh, I can do this on my iPad.
Like, okay.
You're like, that's not so bad.
Like, I straight up, like, I took a painting that I did a couple weeks ago, and I was like, let's see if I can recreate this. Mm-hmm. Because I had a couple requests for prints, and I was like, whoa, it's an original painting, sorry.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, if I can remake some of my paintings, if I make them analog, but then if people like them enough, like, I'll try to make them in Fresco and then sell them. And I think I did pretty good.
Nice.
If we have time, I'll show you. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah.
It is tough because, like, this, so the live brushes are based on your, like, just the colors themselves, and I think it's based on, like, a texture of paper or canvas. Mm-hmm. But what I'm working on is MDF board, and so it's, like, that is a kind of a different... not wood panel or
it gives it a bit of a darker texture and
it reacts with the water differently and like
which is something that's hard to achieve in a program.
Yeah, and I don't expect the developers to be like, you know what, we're gonna make sure that Ari Woeste can do this. Like
you're gonna be like, oh, can I get that MDF background? You're like, I want that one.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if they are working on something to that effect. You know,
where really cool.
Eventually, because we're gonna need it, because we'll run out of, real materials.
Okay.
I was like, end of days.
Now that I'm looking at it, I see that I don't really like how tight this B is up in here. So I'm gonna, like, open it up a little bit. Because with these lines being so thick. Like, it would have worked if this was just like a flat color. If this was solid, but because we have these extra lines, you kind of have to put things up. I think that's fine. I might need to move this up a little bit to...
There's a lot of people out there that are using both real art and real art. Real paints and gouache and oil and spray and
cool.
Everything in addition to working in fresco. So
I think it's
there's a lot of both.
Really good for us as artists to go back and forth and be reminded of like what, I don't know.
What it naturally feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a different, exercise.
Yeah, it's like writing by hand is, it actually allows your brain to focus and understand and remember some of the things that you're writing about. Same thing with drawing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Now...
Is it fresco time?
Yeah.
Watercolor time?
Live brush time.
Live brush!
Woo! I feel like we gotta have like the Pee-wee.
Yeah,
like,
live brush time! Ah! We're doing it! We're going live!
We're actually doing it! Okay, but now before I go do that, I'm gonna duplicate it again. Because I want to have that for later.
Because this is my process, you guys.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because if I decide I wanted to just have those be fills later, then I can just go back easily and not have to delete things and go back and forth.
Exactly. Everyone's like, yay!
Really?
Now the live brushes. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to actually, now that I have that duplicated, I'm going to...
Ooh, look, live brushes on the screen.
Cute! Yay!
We're like, it's raining brushes.
What?
Oh, that's a Siller special. I got Paco to laugh, you guys. He laughed off screen. I feel good. My job is done today. That's really all I show up to do is to see if he'll laugh.
Is there anything even in this layer?
Uh-oh.
Where'd
it go?
So. Okay, I'm going to delete that because I don't need it anymore. Oh, these are my grid lines. I'm just going to delete those because I don't need them anymore. That's fine.
You're like, I don't need those. Yes, Joseph, you can bring a Photoshop file into Fresco, but it would be a flat layer. So.
But you can open up these files directly into Photoshop through the cloud. So if you need to, I don't know, if you want to just click around to move things around versus, I guess once you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Add
and
more
all the
effects.
layers are there. So you can continue to do things with it afterwards. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so now I
we're
have
doing it.
color palettes in here. I hope they're going to be there. Let's see.
So for those of you who are just joining us, if you've just tuned in to Adobe Live, we are here with Ari Woeste, and she is just getting started on doing live brushes in her hand lettering. Big fail energy. So check it out.
Okay, so I'm going to have a layer for my my background color. I've been trying to do a lot of gradients lately, blending things, which I will admit is a little bit easier in real life, but I like to just push things and see how far we can
Yeah,
go.
let's push it.
Okay, so I found that the watercolor wash soft is what I like to use. I'm gonna
Hello, Darcio. Thank you for joining us from Brazil.
So this is a photo, this background is a photo of my MDF that I use.
Yeah.
And so I get that texture. So I recommend if you want to have something feel like a real painting, take a picture of a canvas or your watercolor paper or something and have that texture, because you can't just rely on the texture of the brushes. If you want it to really feel real, you need to have all of the elements there. And so having this has been really helpful. Plus, I like how with MDF, this is why I started working with it in the first place, MDF has a warmth to it. So whenever I put color down, it absorbs. Even if I put a cool color down, it becomes a little warmer. Yeah, so I'm just going to get rid of this for a second. I'm going to make a layer of, what color do I want to use? These are the colors that I use for my paintings. I think...
I like that. You already got your swatches in there.
Yeah.
You're ready.
Yeah, and I did this in Photoshop. I took a screenshot of all my paintings on my website, and I just did color selections in Photoshop and created a a swatch gallery in my library on the cloud so that when I open this
program.
up, it just opens right up. So I
Exactly.
can have consistent coloring across all of my work. So I'm going to bring, the opacity down a little bit. So over here we have water flow, up or down. It just means like how much water, like if you were working with watercolor, how much water you have on your brush, or if you're mixing, if like with gouache you have just a little bit of color and a lot of water, or just like the intensity of the color. And I like to be very, very large.
Love it.
So there's a little bit of a latency because of how
Right, how
intense
much,
these are.
how big the brush is.
Yeah,
You're
it's like,
ah!
I think because this is a pretty new thing.
Yeah.
And so I think as,
It's like that in Photoshop, though, still, too. I think because
Yeah.
the brushes are so intense,
Yeah. And, like, I'm not pushing very hard. I'm going really light. And I do this a lot because it's all about the one stroke.
Right.
Because if you lift up your
It'll
brush
multiply.
again. Yeah. And so I have to be kind of careful about this.
You're like, I gotta get in here.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's going to be a natural overlap.
Mm-hmm.
But if you lift up your brush, then it's like really intense.
Yeah. Cool.
So just take a little bit of time.
I love it.
Any other questions that we can talk about while we're doing this?
That's right. Anthony Jackson says, go big or go home. You're like, I'm going big. Yes, if you guys have questions for Ari, now is the time. And for those of you who are going to create for the daily challenge, don't forget to submit it in there on Discord. Just go to the right of the screen and you can submit. And we will be doing some critiques and reviews with Ari in about 22 minutes. So we've got a little time, and I've seen some cool stuff already be entered. So yeah, get it in there.
As you can see, it's like loading. Ah!
Looks
Sometimes
good.
oh shoot. I think I moved while I was doing it and then like cut it off. I'm gonna have to go back. Undo. Oh no. Okay. I had my opacity was pretty high still, so I brought my opacity down because I didn't like how intense it was. Because what I'm doing is I'm putting down a this blue layer, and I'm going just beyond the halfway point. So I want to blend a blue and a purple.
Nice.
And so, or like maybe just a different shade of blue. Maybe I don't want it to be so intense. Do a little bit of a... I don't know if you can even see my progress, but it's so light because it's just everything's in like a...
Not yet, but it'll build up.
Yeah.
I think that's the glory of this watercolor effect. Ooh, the light of God is falling on us. Ah. We're like, well, it just got a bit brighter in here. And now it's darker.
It's very, very light. I might need
Cool.
might need to up it a little bit. Oh no.
The light's gone wrong.
Okay, yeah, you can see it. There we go. So
Yeah. It's building.
Yeah, and like
I mean,
you
it takes a
can do
little bit to
masks
build.
too, and so like you can, if you realize like, oh shoot, this is like way too much color, or yeah.
Plus, it's kind of fun to see that, and I'll end up going back and forth with it, and like, pulling some out and erasing it with the same texture. It's just on a really light opacity.
Okay, so I was just on this color here, but now I'm literally just gonna go down to maybe this one.
Cool.
I might want to find one in between here. So these are just ones that I pulled from my art, but I think I might try to find a middle ground between these two. And like
Nice.
bring it to be a little bit more like that. So I don't want it to be like a crazy like high contrast. Whoa, hold on. That's a
You're like,
full
that
opacity.
is too much.
Okay. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's easier to blend two colors when they're like a little bit closer together.
So Rasim is asking, are you doing any perspective lettering?
No,
Not today.
not today. I'll go back because I pushed too hard. the fun thing is that you don't get to do this with real painting.
No, I know, right? That's the great part. You can't just be like, delete.
Yeah. I'm like, oh no. So I recently did a triptych of like a full rainbow sunset.
Ooh.
And so this is kind of what I did in real life. Was I did I did a lot of layering to achieve a full rainbow. I don't know why it's doing this. It wasn't doing this before. It's like glitching out and making like a.
Oh yeah.
You can see that. I don't want that. So, I don't know if it's like my iPad. Yeah, you have to have patience when you do this. You can't just like do scribbles, because then it doesn't want to keep up with you, because it's like, because what's happening with
still rendering.
Yeah, because okay, so you can't really see it right now. If I zoom in,
there we go.
Okay. If I let me put this back on so you can see a little bit better. Oh, maybe not. Maybe that's not a good example. Here. Cover this up a little bit, this weird like square thing. Here, I'll just straight up demo this because I think it's really cool, and I'm using it in a more subtle way, but just to show you what can be done with especially with the oil paint. Like, I'll go to oil. Okay, let's just do the big thick round one. Let's take a darker color. I'm just actually gonna use like a gray. Opacity, flow. Oh, cannot draw on hidden layer. Okay, thank you.
And for those joining, you're going to demo exactly...
like the capability. Here, any more... Maybe not gray. There's not enough contrast. So if I do this big, like, black oil, right? So, I mean, like, there's a glare on my screen, so I'm not sure what you're seeing. Okay.
We see it clear.
Okay, cool. So then if I take like a light color on top of it in the same layer, like this is, I'm blending my color now.
Nice.
So I'm like, I'm not actually laying down that blue. I'm trying to create like dimension within that, like just like you would with regular oil paint. I mean, I can go over here and then I can blend them. So this is why, I mean, I really like using this with the watercolor because it's the same concept, but way more subtle. And so you get all this drag of your oil.
Yeah, it feels like real mixing.
Yeah, and then if you use, I'll just do the watercolor with like a thicker, more prominent color.
Hey, Kathleen. Good to see you out there. Got some submissions in your Discord. This is looking good.
So I'm gonna zoom in like crazy here, so you can see how like it's starting to bleed. Did you see that? It's like animating. Because when there's more water on your brush, it's gonna just bleed naturally. And then if I use a different color, let's just do red. No, that's not red. That was not red at all. Let's have bright red. See how they start to blend together?
Nice.
So
when feels real.
Yeah, so when you do that with your like with your more subtle brushes, you get that same effect, but it's not as like prominent and in your face. So that's what I'm trying to do with my other layers here.
Looks great.
Yeah.
That was a great demo. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I thought that was super cool when I first started using it. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I think I like this.
You're like, this is good. I'm going to try some more.
Yeah. So like, this feels like when I'm...
You're like, this is just big energy.
Like, look at that. I make pink instead of red. Like, I'm laying down red and it's looking pink because it's blending with the blue.
Grand Freud says that. So powerful. I agree.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to my little blues here. I think maybe it was this one. Maybe it was this, like, wash.
Maybe.
That was, like, a little bit more. I also am working a large canvas because the live brushes have a maximum of 500 pixels, and so, like, 512. And so if you work with a smaller canvas, you can do these like large,
Right,
like,
it's easier to
swaths.
blend,
Yeah.
too.
And
Yeah.
I made it more difficult on myself by having to do this. And
Right. This is more like realistic brush strokes.
yeah.
Well, I mean, like
I
that's...
have, a limited brush size, and if I scale my canvas, I can't just like scale my brush.
Yeah. You're like, I want my brush to be 1,000. It's like, nope, sorry.
That's not
we have a
how
limit.
that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens in Photoshop too. I'm always like, well, I just want it triple the size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just try to do this, and then like...
That's when we need Kyle Brush.
Yes.
So he can make us a custom one.
Yeah.
Usually he'll hop in here, so I'm surprised we haven't seen him in chat.
So something I do in my paintings, like with the one I just finished with this giant, it's the full piece was 48 inches by 16, like put together. And I knew I wanted like a really subtle pastel rainbow, but that's really hard to do, and still achieve the appropriate colors. And so what I do to blend it is I'll take my white, my cream, and put it over the top of my entire canvas, and like rub it in and like blend that way. And so I'm trying to find a way to do that within here, because I like subtlety, and so even this color is like too bright for me. So I want to go in and do, hold on, I didn't save my cream. It's fine, I can make one. Cream is pretty easy.
You're like, I'll make cream.
I'll make my cream.
Doo-doo-doo.
Just a little bit of yellow in there.
Like, just making cream.
I like the warmth that cream adds to it. It like softens things.
Feels a bit refined too. It's lovely.
So I think I might actually do this one, because it has more like blending ability. But I'm gonna bring the opacity down and just very lightly. I don't know if this is gonna work because my canvas is too large. Because when I was doing my other ones to like make the, maybe that's not the right brush. Is this one? Nope, that is very small.
You're like, it's not that one.
That's detail. I don't know. Maybe I might try the oil, because it's just easier to blend. Because watercolor creates that like harsh line.
It looks pretty though.
Thanks.
We've got just about 10 minutes before we review our daily creative challenge in Discord. So if you're working alongside Ari and you're submitting your work, we'd love to see it. So don't forget to do so. We have Kathleen Illustrated in the chat, so you can ask her any questions you might need for today's DCC.
And I'm doing these back and forth lines because a lot of my work has like a pretty distinct horizon line in it. I know I sound super basic when I say this, but like all of my paintings are based on nature and sunsets.
I think that's great. And it's not basic at all. I think that nature is like the number one
I know, but I feel
inspiration to everyone.
Yeah, it's like an art
That's
theory.
great.
Like if you have studied like aesthetics, or it's like a picture of a sunset is like the most, and there's a reason it's the most basic thing. It's because it's so universal. That's why I paint a lot of
It's very calming.
suns and sunsets, and that's my inspiration for a lot of stuff. Is just because it's sunsets, and like the beauty of a sunset is accessible to everyone, no matter your class, location, even if you're just like in the Midwest like I was and not like surrounded by beautiful mountains and oceans and all that stuff. Like you still have this gift of a sunset you get to see every day.
Exactly. I think that's very well said.
So
This is looking pretty.
thanks. So I'm gonna go back and do a little bit more of the blending. I know this takes a bit, but so basically it's just like what I just did, but a lot of it. And like it's a process, but because we don't have tons of time, I'm gonna show a little bit more of this. So I'm gonna do some.
Well, we've got about 30 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. we've got 10 minutes until we review, and then about 30 minutes after that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
we've
what
got
I'm
some
gonna
time. This will be good.
I'm gonna do my fills for this. I'm gonna do just this cream color because I want to make sure that it's like lifted off of the background. And because I already have like a light-ish blue, I need to make sure it's like high opacity.
Yeah, it looks really nice and natural. The watercolor texture in the background feels like you really did put that over your wood base.
Yeah, and when I'm done too, I'll add an effect to it, so it has a little bit more. Like sometimes I put an effect, and sometimes I'll just tone down the opacity a little bit so you can see more of that texture. Yeah, because like these light brushes, they're interacting with that layer that you have, not the layer below.
Right.
So you do have to add a little bit of an effect. So I just switched to the round detail watercolor to do some of these details.
Cool.
Even though it says 512, it's a physically smaller brush, and so even at the capacity, it's still not the same width as like the biggest brush.
Got it.
So it's good to know. Oops, that is still. Whoa!
You're like, whoa! You're like, it picks up a lot of water.
Like,
yeah. You're like, that should be dry by now.
I'm like, what?
And come on.
I am on a different layer, so it's not going to be interacting with the blue underneath.
Or with the black, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good thing to remember. But if you want them to be, if you want them to interact, then put them on the same layer. But I would just always duplicate your layer to, like, make sure you have...
This is great. It's so satisfying to see things be filled in. It does. You know those videos on Instagram where like someone's cutting something and they like chop the whole thing. I'm like, it's so satisfying. It's like that when I watch people like filling in shapes. I'm like, yes, fill the shape.
And like see how it's like moving even after I've put, I love that.
It's so
There's
great.
Like something satisfying about these light brushes where I'm just like, oh.
I know, and then it fills in that little area. You're like, yeah, it naturally would.
Yeah, and if it goes beyond that line, I'm like, that's cool. I kind of want that.
Could you imagine if you were to pick up your iPad and it would drip if you did something like this?
That would be really cool. Are they working on that?
I don't know, but go make it, Adobe. There's your idea for
like a gravity base, like, oh my gosh.
Right?
That'd be so cool.
I know. Yeah, there's your $1 million idea. You're welcome. I'll just use it. That sounds perfect for me. Yeah, I would absolutely love that though.
Like, I'll be honest.
Then it'd be like, what?
This probably isn't gonna like make like this giant. I mean, because if I just post this on Instagram, you probably won't even really see all of this definition.
The detail, yeah.
But if I printed it, you'd be able to see like, oh, that looks like real watercolor, and I don't have to put in an effect after like a fill. Like I don't have to do a fill and then like try to fake it with all these.
Well, this is great because I'm sure a lot of people want to buy this print afterwards. After they've watched the whole process, they feel like they've been along for the journey.
Yeah.
So, which they have.
Heck yeah.
Jack Watson said, oh, I would panic if my iPad started leaking. Totally. You're like moving and you're like, ah. Yeah. So funny.
I have a leaky iPad.
Yeah, right?
I'm sorry, sir. We don't fix leaky iPads.
No. You're like, but like, what if it's part of my program?
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks beautiful.
Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, I haven't combined these like harsh style like this with a soft watercolor.
Yeah, and the earthiness of it. I think it's a really nice juxtaposition that isn't out there.
Yeah. And I think it goes well with like the concept of failure. It's like in the moment it feels awful and you're like really upset about it. But then when you look back at it, you're like, I needed that. I needed that lesson.
It also just goes to show that things take time. Like we go through pretty quick process on Adobe Live, and it's not necessarily like the real process, but it goes to show that you've got a technique that you use in a specific sequence, and it takes time, but you're trying to do it a little more quickly so that you can teach people what you do and show them your work.
Yeah, and like the fact that it literally takes time in between drawing for you to reflect on what you've made and be like, oh, I need to change that.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good thing for clients to see too. Like if there's people watching right now that aren't like creatives themselves but hire creatives, like it's a huge thing to consider when you're working with the timeline of when you approach a creative for something and like, I need it in a week. It's like, oh.
Well, we might not be able to think through some situations that we would validate if we had more time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, it probably can be produced in a week, but will it be the best solution? It might not be. You know, it's that typical, like, the time, you know, it's like the triangle of
money,
time. You can only pick two.
And amazement.
Yeah,
good, fast, and cheap.
Yeah. Yep, only pick two.
Yeah.
So...
I love seeing the watercolor
know.
spread. It's so gratifying.
I know it's like at the end of the day, I'm like, it doesn't really make much of a difference in texture, but it's fine because it's really fun.
Exactly.
It like fills in all those gaps, but
so
it does. It changes like my, you know, like I don't have to go back and like fill out all those gaps because they're like already filled in for me.
Yeah, feels good.
Like I'm not even have to. This is so nice.
Hey,
typically,
Beast, what's up?
When I'm having to fill with like the pencil, like in real life. I'm just like feeling, I'm like going like back and
you're
forth, like
and then you're moving it because you're like, oh, that edge of the pencil's all worn out, so I have to flip it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh man, now it's gonna look like there's like so many things that you do when you're using a real pencil. Zoang says beautiful. Yay. It is beautiful. Monier says it's nice and awesome.
Thank you.
I like that. It's looking great, everyone. Don't forget to get those Discord submissions in. We've got just 2 minutes. But don't worry, we'll have more time.
Cool.
That way we'll get to see more of this. This is great. Ooh.
Yeah, I think I'll have the fill done.
It's looking really nice.
And so the plan is I'm going to actually be adding in color after this, but I'm using the same concept of just like laying down a flat cream color. And then I'll add my color as a fill, just like pretty simple and easy.
Nice.
I think I'm gonna have to like fill in
over
some of
or
these.
under.
I'll probably do under. And then I will. I don't know, and
You're like, I don't know. I'm gonna do it in the moment.
Yeah, and if it looks like it needs to be actually like hand drawn, then I'll do that too.
Totally. Rosemary says marvelous work.
Yay! Thank you.
Marvelous.
How do you get inspired for having a specific design?
Oh yeah. How do you get inspired for having a specific design style? Yeah. Monier's always got the good, poignant, difficult questions.
Yeah. So that was a little covered like in the first part of yesterday. Of like how I approach things. I like
and nature.
Yeah, so nature is huge. For specific design styles, I mean, obviously, if I'm working with a client, it's a very different story because it's like it's pretty defined, and I almost always like have a.
Well, they have a brief, and you know, but you still bring your own inspiration to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be asking you specifically.
Yeah, and so when I work with a client, I ask a lot of discovery questions and trying to figure out like. What their brand is and how I can fit in within their world and like figuring out what the sandbox is I'm playing in and then having creativity within that.
Yeah.
But when I'm working like just on a personal project and like anything is open, it's a little bit more demanding creatively because you're like, oh shoot, well I can do so many different things.
And how do you find that you navigate that? Like when it's so open for you?
I will, if I'm feeling like really uninspired, I'll go to design inspiration. And sometimes I just look at photography too. Like I'll just look at other forms of creativity, not necessarily type. Because if I look at type, then I find myself wanting to just copy, and that's not a good place to be in.
I think that's natural for everybody when they're looking at something. I think that's why, you know, what you said earlier, looking at nature and sunsets and being outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, honestly, like, traveling has been huge. I've seen, like, driving through the Southwest, Tucson especially, I saw, like, all of these pastels that they're pastel now, but they weren't pastel when they were initially put up. They were like these vibrant, bold colors, but the sun, just like how intense the sun is in the Southwest, just has
it's
down
really
on
inspiring too to your palette that you've derived for your 2020 painting palette.
Yeah.
I love it. I was like, ooh, great. I was like,
Yeah.
you named it too. I love it.
Yeah, so it's basically, I mean, what I'm inspired by right now is like classic form, like within type, classic form, but trying to find ways to break the rules within that.
Amazing.
That's why I love 60s and 70s type.
You're like, and we're looping it back to that. So speaking of, we are at the finish line for our design feedback countdown. So let's hop over to my screen and Ari will take a look at all of the challenges that have been submitted. The challenge today was to look at building in color as well as adding in gradients. So we'll start with the first one. This is Kathleen's demonstration of Strange Bop. So it's super fun. You guys are learning the tools. Kathleen's showing you how to bring in gradient and color and layer. Super fun. Oh, I love this. What should I do to jazz up the text? An LED walking on the stars. Interesting.
Oh, because there's a watermark in the back.
Multiple. And bringing in gradients too. I don't see much of a gradient, but I do see like an overlay. This is cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, Jeremy Tevis, you're working in here. Let's see, we didn't get to see yours, Jeremy, but put it in there. We've got Abraham, AKA Wordsmith Hero. His attempt to add content-aware cleanup and removal plus a little glow. Super cool.
Magic carpet ride.
Yeah, although the feet are feeling a little bit missing. And maybe even touching up a little bit of the hand where this is overlaying. Nice job. It's getting there. This is pretty cool. A lot of layers. Valentine Pierce, text placement and color choice. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, I want to be there.
Yeah, this is your sunset,
I
but
love
with something totally different.
The desert and like weird, like I don't know what planet is that, and like I love thinking of like other worlds and what they see, even if we're not able to be there as humans, like physically capable. Like I just
Camels
imagine,
on Mars.
Yeah, like what kind of sunsets do they have?
Yeah, camels on Mars.
Like,
I don't know.
Could you imagine having two moons?
That would be amazing.
And like one, oh man.
I love it. Voodoo Val, like we're starting to speak her language. She's like, yes, 2 moons, space, please.
Space things.
Santaji, let's see. Submissions for days 1 and 4. Whoa. A lot of layers, a lot of gradient, perspective,
and it's
type.
meta.
Very meta, yeah. It's like Photoshop,
Photoshop
3.0.
in Photoshop.
Yeah. This is like the original Photoshop. I remember this interface. Wait, it's 6.0. Dang. Wow. Yeah, Photoshop turns 30 this year, so it's a big year. Let's see. Nice job. Oh, day 2. So we see that you're, progressing a little bit with Photoshop. But you went back because this is Acrobat Reader 4.0, so you're technically going back in time.
I really like that swirly type, though.
Yeah, the Photoshop. It's all like Photoshop. Warp.
Yeah.
Amazing. Let's see, day 3. Oh, yeah. Getting into it. Super cool. I like your background.
Yeah.
It is meta. There's like some real fun
the detail.
in there. Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
This is incredible.
Love it.
And then day 4. Day 4, I'm kind of missing the whole interface. I want the whole background to be there too.
A series of meta Photoshop.
I know.
posts.
Oh, and this must be the rest of day 4. Oh, here we go. This is perfect. You're showing your context.
Cool.
I want to know what's in the Mac crypt. Back here. It's like, this is everything ever. Mac crypt. And Unix. Wow. This is making me so happy. I love this. Okay, that was amazing, you guys. Keep submitting. Keep on your daily challenge. There's more to come for later today and tomorrow, so stick with it. This has been really good, and you guys are brave for submitting, and keep doing it. All right, let's hop back onto Ari's screen.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You're like, oh yeah, that's right. You're like, I'm doing stuff too. I'm like, yeah, you are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was really nervous about how this is gonna look, but I really like it.
Yeah, I do
like
too.
Like the delicate detail. I was thinking
It's
I was
great.
not gonna like it not being like super chunky outlines. I kind of like it.
I think this is great. This could be a great mural.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I so badly want to make a mural with this new style I'm working in.
Do it.
Oh.
Is this part of the new style?
I haven't like considered lettering, but I really want to.
Yeah. Oh right, possibly with your painting.
Yeah, yeah, because I think that's like, because lettering is very specific and whatever brand that wants a mural is gonna need to have like a solid, like evergreen copy that they're gonna want to keep there for a long time, and so it is a little bit of a harder sell.
Big fail energy. Clients out there, you could have big fail energy.
Like, hey, any agency people want big fail energy on their wall.
Exactly.
I mean, it'd have to be a pretty bold agency, but that's the kind of people I want to work for. So
exactly. You're like,
I want
big fail energy agencies.
Hit me up.
So we've got about 20 minutes left with Ari. So if you guys have questions or if there's any tips you want, now's the time. No time like the present. Hi, Bojana. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome.
Realizing I need a little bit more of a refined brush, so I'm bringing the size down. Because the
curves are
difference
tough.
is really like this is as light as I can go, and that's as thick as I go.
Oh wow.
So the thicks and thins on this are really nice.
Yeah, it's looking great. Hi, Lucas. Welcome. We have a whole new wave of people coming in.
Heck
so
yeah.
for those of you who are, perfect.
For
those
people
of you
just joining.
Yeah, we're here with Ari Woeste, and she is working on big fail energy lettering and also creating some live brush and live watercolor. So working in Fresco. Yeah.
Oh, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, it is. We're having a great satisfactory session today. It's a lot of filling in and beauty and tracing lines from your original drawings from yesterday.
Yeah,
it's
a lot of,
it's
tedious
satisfaction.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but right now I'm like, yes, this is the final stretch. We're getting there.
Are you kidding? This is like the best part of all the hard work up front.
Yeah. I almost just I went back to the pixel brush. And I'm like, no, that's not what
You're
I wanted.
This isn't for me.
I don't like the pixel brush now. I've upgraded.
Yeah, you're like, I'm doing so much better now. Enjoying this watercolor.
Yeah, it's really great.
This is great. So do you have some new projects, personal projects or client that you're excited about coming up?
Ooh, yeah. So I dipped my toe into beverage packaging last summer. And because of that, I've been getting some more beverage work.
Nice.
So I'm super excited about that because it's been a goal of mine for a really long time.
Oh, amazing.
And I wasn't kind of passive about it. I never really put myself out there to do it. I just I guess if I'll ever get it, that'll be fine. But I, my agent last summer, I know it sounds so funny. He knew that I wanted to get into beverage, and so. His partner's brother was getting married, and his parents own a vineyard, and they were doing custom wine for the wedding.
Oh, fun!
And he was like, "Hey, I know you're kind of busy right now, but if you want a project just to do for fun, where you have complete creative control." And I'll just give you wine and and for compensation.
That sounds great. You're like, I had a lot of wine that summer.
Yeah, and he was like, well, it's obviously it's not paid because it's not something that they were looking to.
But
they're
that's
not
great
looking
practice.
To sell it. It's just a fun thing.
Yeah.
Practice for you, and then we can use it in your portfolio.
Exactly.
And I was like, heck yeah, let's do it.
Totally.
And honestly,
those are the things that you want to do. You can control it. You get to do what you want. Yeah.
And that was when I learned that I have an obsession for circles and squiggles.
Oh, I love that.
So, and that is that project is what led me to do this new style of painting.
I think it's great.
And so after that project, I was posting about it a couple times, and then I got contacted to do beer titles for a brewery in Minnesota.
Love it.
If you're familiar with Minnesota breweries, Dangerous Man, so look out for
Dangerous
that.
Man.
We finished the project last week.
Cool.
And
I can't wait.
Yeah, and
I want to drink it too.
5 titles.
Ooh.
And they're all very different.
Are they dangerous?
Yeah. I mean, their beer's so good. Like,
yeah.
if you're...
What's your favorite one?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so...
I love this. You're like, oh my gosh.
They have a peanut butter porter and a milk chocolate stout.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, yes.
So whenever I go...
You mix the two?
Yeah.
Okay,
two
yes.
of them, and we get an extra glass, pour them in, and then we, like, divide them. Yeah. So, like, my friends and I will get...
So, have you ever had Wells? They have a double chocolate porter, double chocolate stout and a banana bread porter, and you mix them together, and it's chocolate banana bread.
Oh,
it's so good.
good.
Yeah. It's like, Wells is, I think, a British or English beer.
Okay.
Yeah. It's similar sounding.
Yeah.
So, I want to try the peanut butter and chocolate.
Yeah, it's milk chocolate stout and
Milk
peanut butter
chocolate.
porter, and the fact that they're like a
sounds so
stout
good.
and a porter, it's like a nice balance because it's not like the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, and
like,
it's not so
twice.
heavy.
Yeah.
Kind of cuts it.
Yeah, I love it.
Ah.
So I lived just like a couple blocks away on the same street when they first opened, and yeah, I was there quite a bit. So it was really cool for them to reach out and to work with them. I was like, oh my gosh! And so then because of that, I got another one that I'm starting soon with a distillery that I really love in Duluth, Minnesota.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I'll be doing some titles, not just titles. I'll be doing the full packaging for that.
Fantastic.
For a new line of Amaros and aperitifs.
Ooh, I can't wait to see it.
Which is so fun because
I love Amaros.
My other font, the one that my logo is set in, that one I've titled Aperitif.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, because I was like looking at a lot of Italian. Yeah, and so it's funny how everything just kind of comes together like that.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this distillery, and I love the woman that runs it, and she's like super humble and down to earth and really sweet, and like really cares about craft, and so I'm excited to work with her.
I love that.
We have the same approach to...
Well, we'll have to have you back on the show, and maybe you'll be able to do some aperitif logos or packaging. That would be super fun.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to get like more regular design projects because I think people just see me as a lettering artist, which I mean it's really cool. But I double majored in college in interactive and print, and so I like to be seen as a multidisciplinary designer and not just a lettering artist. And so when I get asked to do like full package things, like not just packaging, but like from start to finish, when I get requests to do that, I'm like, yay, I get to use all my skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I think it's, there's nothing more gratifying than being able to strategize that from the start to finish and see it come to fruition.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a big reason why a lot of people get into graphic design.
Yeah. I just like making things, and like I don't really see much of a boundary between the disciplines. I mean, obviously it's when you start studying something specific, there's a lot to learn about like everything that you like, every new tool you pick up, every new medium, but the principles are the same, and the way that you approach it can all be the same. And I think we do ourselves a disservice by trying to put everybody into separate boxes and being like, you're a designer. Like, I just saw something on Twitter this morning that, I don't know, I shouldn't look at design Twitter. It's just, like, not a healthy place. But, like, someone posted that graphic designers should not cross over into UX. And I was like, okay.
Well, we're all users.
Yeah. I was like, all right.
We're the original users.
Cool hot take, bro. Like, it was just, I don't know. Yeah, so that kind of stuff, it feels very limiting, and I think that like we're complex humans with these, we have diverse abilities, and we can be a purely aesthetic artist in one stroke, no pun intended, and also be a UX designer if we want to be. Like I think
that limiting people is not healthy.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
And I think that, it's good to explore.
Yeah.
I think Monier had asked that the other day, like, what should he do? And, should he do a bunch of things or should he do one thing? And I would say explore until you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back and fix this because I just realized that I didn't really make much space for it. Oops, wrong thing.
I like it. It's looking good.
Thanks.
That texture in the background's very nice.
Yeah, I like it.
Very cool.
Okay, I'm going to go back to my cream color.
So satisfying. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get to the same result, and I think that's what's so enjoyable about watching everyone's process, and it's definitely what I enjoy the most when I get to be a host, is that you see a different way to get to the same end result. And everyone, uses different tools and different techniques, and it's all in the process that you truly enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah, and like some people are like really amazing digital artists and they just know how to use weird tools to make like new looks and feels, and I'm more in the camp of like I want my digital tool to feel as much like analog as possible. Mm-hmm. But like again, back to the whole like being drawn to things, you're like, I could never do this and I don't think I want to, but wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I was just looking back at like past live guests, and Natalia, I forgot her last name, but she does like these really cool digital like paintings essentially.
Oh yeah.
Like photo composition
Yep.
or compositing, and it's so, I mean, even like how bright her colors are and how whimsical everything is. I'm like, it's just fascinating, and I think it's so cool. And I love that we live in a world where like so many different people can be so many different things.
Exactly.
Yay! Okay.
That looks awesome.
So the type's done.
So we have about 10 minutes.
Yeah, so I'm
A little
gonna
less than, yeah.
duplicate my.
Looks good. Chat. Look at this. Big fail
Yay!
energy. This is awesome. I love the color palette too. Beautiful.
Okay, so I'm gonna hide my main outline for now, and I'm gonna hide this, so I can just focus on this. Maybe I'll keep that. So like,
You're like, ah!
That's too brown. Contrast really isn't there.
You're like,
So
need blue.
I need to make these all fills, so I have to make sure I don't have any close. Like I need to close up my things here. So I have an open shape here, so I'm gonna close it.
Ooh, Marissa Anderson says, looks like a t-shirt design. I think somebody wants a t-shirt out
Heck,
there.
yeah.
Right?
Let's do it.
Get in those shirt orders.
Oh, oops. Oh no, I'm drawing on the wrong thing. That's not good.
You're like, ah.
Okay.
Okay. I hate when that
redo this.
happens.
Okay.
It's like so often.
Yeah. I'm like, oh no.
All the time. I'm like, I have to go back and redo all of that.
Yup.
Yep.
Okay, so close. This is open.
It's so funny, but the subtlest little things, and then you're like, no.
Okay, I think.
That looks
think
pretty
this is
good.
gonna be-
Yeah. I mean, there's only one way to find out, right?
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna.
It's always so
fill.
scary.
Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, you got it. Ooh,
I'm
looks
gonna fix,
good.
so I can change my margin for like how much it's gonna fill. I want it to
yeah.
be pretty thick. So, so
Looking
nope,
oh.
too far. That's how we know.
That's how we know. I love it. It's always like a.
Nope. Where is it? Where is the hole?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe
It's
some
so
of these.
tough.
I know. I'm like.
That Conte crayon, man. It's just messing it up.
Yeah. Yay, there
Yeah, we got it.
we go. Okay. Yay.
Ooh, looks good.
Oh, yeah. But these are just the color fills, so
Ooh,
so that's
look
gonna be
at those letters.
that's gonna be behind everything, so it doesn't matter if I'm like losing that detail in there. It's
Okay,
just
I
behind.
absolutely love like the is it gonna fill or
Yeah,
not?
it's like,
this is a great game.
Okay, where is my hole? Over here. Where did I miss a spot?
It's like I spy. Oh, there it is. At
Yeah.
the bottom. Yeah, clever Devlin's like, mind the gap. Exactly. Mind the gap. Oh, yeah, we got this.
No. That wasn't it. It's such a silly game.
It's such a great game, though.
Okay,
you know,
I'm
like,
just going to change my color margin to like really, really low.
this is the thing,
So,
chat.
like,
If you're
there
not
we
laughing
go.
and you're not having fun and you're not dancing while you're creating, then you're not doing it right.
Dang it. This one has... Oh, it's up there. That would be an obvious...
Oh,
like,
that's right, because we were on the wrong layer earlier.
Yeah.
We did fix it, but then we had to go back.
Okay, so this should work.
Looking good.
Nope. What?
Oh.
Where is it?
Oh, maybe on the right side of the A near the spur. Yeah. Me. I've got an eagle eye, man.
Heck yeah, you
Heck
got
yeah.
it.
I'm here for you.
Oh,
man.
These are...
This is fun and hard.
I guess now we know that
Now
if
we
you
know.
want to do fills, don't use a Conte crayon.
This is a great lesson for all of us.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Oh, I can't use my finger. There we go.
Looks great.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, we got
Yay!
this.
Yay!
Oh, yeah, big fail.
Woo! Okay.
This is
How many?
perfect.
Aw,
Got like
dang
4
it.
minutes left,
Shoot.
so we've got this.
Okay.
We're gonna get the
I
energy
will just show
going.
you what
I don't know,
what
I
I'm
think you can do
thinking
it. I think
for
you got
this.
this.
For the whole thing? 4
Yeah,
minutes?
you got it.
You think we'll be fine?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. I feel like we're on the final countdown.
It's the final countdown.
Yeah, what happened to... We're doing the karaoke thing, right?
Exactly. We're
Yeah,
doing
Adobe
Adobe Karaoke. Adobe Oki.
Oh, wait, no, not that. I want my black.
You're like, we
We're
got
black.
this.
Okay,
Michael Forrest says, get it, girl.
Oh, Michael Forrest, hi!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's my buddy in college.
Oh, so fun.
He's my
Love
friend that
college
like got
buddies.
me into type design.
So cool.
Yeah.
Way to go, Michael.
He did it, and he's really doing it. He's got a cool studio called Counter.
Cool.
He sells fonts.
Nice.
So check him out.
Will do.
He's super cool.
Put it on the list.
He's a quality human, quality type.
Quality human with quality type. Those are the quality people we want in our lives.
Yeah. Okay, now.
Type or bust.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yay.
Woo. Look at that. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, no.
We were on a roll and
Let's
then we're
just see
like,
which
yeah,
ones
yeah.
are available.
There we go.
Not that one.
Look at that.
Not that one.
I like it how it's available.
Yeah, I'm like...
This one's available.
Oh, man.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, so those ones I have to fix. So
I think
now
it's great.
I can at least just go like that and figure it out. Okay, pretty sure that should be done. Nope. Dang it.
But it's so close.
Ugh,
So
I
good.
want to get this in time. How much time do we have? Like
a minute.
Shoot. Okay.
Yeah, a minute. I think it's the bottom, the tail. Damn, no. Oh, darn. I was like, ugh.
Where is this one?
Oh.
Oh, it's up here.
There we go. Conte crayon.
Conte crayon, come on. Can't you just read my mind? Just know I want to fill it later. Maybe it's down here.
Ooh, yeah. I
Maybe
think
it's
that
down
was
here.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yay! Okay, so
we did
what I want
it!
to do is I want
Big
to
fail
make
energy.
color. So I'm going to go to my paintings.
Well, we
and I'm
just
gonna,
have like a minute, maybe 30 seconds.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, look at that.
I'm going to do gradient action.
Ooh, yeah. So good. Ooh, gorgeous. Look at this. This is some big gradient action.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I just want you to see what it's going to look like. So I'm just going to put this back.
Gorgeous.
And then put this
Oh,
back.
yeah.
And I'm going to put this down and bring it down.
Look at that.
So that's what, I mean, the bottom will
What?
have more of that feel, that
See?
energy.
I believed.
Yeah.
I believed this. You did this. Man.
Woo!
Look at that big fail
did
energy.
We did it.
So will you be posting this in your Behance or on your Instagram?
I will.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
So everyone out in chat, you can follow along on Ari's profile and see the final big fail energy hand lettering done while on Adobe Live. Ari, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
it was
for
so
having
fun
me.
and your work is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thanks everyone for coming.